In this video, we're going to divide complex numbers. But the first thing you do need to know before you can divide complex numbers, you actually need to understand the multiplication of complex numbers. So I'm going to post a link here. Click that link. It'll take you to the video before this one, so you can see how to multiply complex numbers. So the first thing you need to know then after that, once you know how to multiply complex numbers, you need to understand what's known as a conjugate. And in this case, it's a complex conjugate. So a conjugate is, for a complex number like a plus bi, it's where you keep the terms the same and you alternate the sign. The conjugate of 1 minus I is 1 plus I. Alright, so we need to recognize that. Just keep the terms the same. And now what you do is you multiply by the conjugate over itself. Alright, so there's the denominator 1 plus I, and I also put 1 plus I in the numerator. And the reason we can do this is because this is a fraction that's equal to 1, right? And so we haven't changed anything when we do this. But when you multiply two conjugates, as you may have seen in previous problems, there are no imaginary numbers left. We take 19 times 1, and we get 19. And then we do 19 times I, and we get 19I. Alright, so the numerator part was pretty straightforward. Now in the denominator, here's where the cool part comes in. We do FOIL, right? 1 times 1 is 1. Then we do 1 times positive I, and we get I. Then we do 1 times negative I, so we get negative I. And then finally we do the last two, we get negative I squared. Negative I times positive I is negative I squared. And so when you do this multiplication by a conjugate, this always happens. This plus I cancels this minus I. The two middle terms will cancel. And we've talked about before that I squared represents negative 1. So I have minus I squared here. That's the same as, remember, I squared is the same as negative 1. So I have essentially negative of negative 1. So I have plus 1. And so this whole piece right here becomes the same as plus 1. And so now I have like terms here on the bottom. I have a 1 plus 1, and so the denominator here becomes 2, and I have 19 plus 19i in the numerator over 2. But you're not done yet. Alright, if you enter that into WebAssign, it's going to tell you that's wrong, and that's because we express complex numbers like this over here as an a plus a bi, a real part and an imaginary part. So we're going to divide this up and say 19 over 2 is my real part, and then my imaginary part is 19 over 2, 19i over 2. So you can write this as 19 over 2 with the I out here. You can type the I up in the numerator. Either one of those two will work. And that's how you find the quotient of a complex number.